Alright, I want to read this. This video I'm about to make is a response to a thought experiment on constructing meaning from written text. If you wish to participate in the experiments, or if you're going to do the same thing I'm doing, then don't watch this video first. Find Scouty 111 or whatever and get the information that I've got here. Take your own test or participate, and then you can watch other people's videos. There is a high probability that if you watch somebody else's response video first, it will affect yours. Now see, I haven't read the other part yet. I have it folded in just the right place. So here I go. I'm turn it over and start reading. Think aloud here. Okay, I'll do that. Circadian dysynchrony and transmeridian flight. I do not know what any of that means. I always read on to see if I can figure it out from context. Conflict of circadian rhythmicity. I know what rhythm is. I don't know what circadian is yet. I mean rhythm, so I'm looking for that to help me. With that of the environment. Read again. Conflict of circadian rhythmicity with that of the environment arises when the environmental synchronizers, I know what synchronization is, but I don't know what an environmental synchronizer is, are weakened. When the environmental synchronizers are weakened. I'm going to go back and make sense out of this now, at least so I understand that. Conflict of rhythmicity with that of the environment. Of circadian rhythmicity, a certain kind of rhythmicity, with that of the environment. The rhythmicity of the environment? Oh, circadian with that of the environment arises when environmental signals are weakened. So far I don't understand squats, but I'm trying to get clues. When the environmental synchronizers are weakened, disappear completely. So conflict, it arises when environmental synchronizers are weakened, disappear completely, or change their period length. This occurs in submarine and space operations, interesting, and with partial removal from external periodic inputs, as in the Arctic. Though in man, the clock hour and daytime related social activities are important synchronizers. That's a bloody long sentence, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know, my wheels are spinning trying to put together all the pieces and find the right places to break them. So conflict with this thing that I don't know what it means, between this thing, circadian rhythmicity, and that of the environment, with that of the environment. The rhythm, or the rhythmicity of the environment. So rest and activity patterns are also out of phase with the environment in shift workers, particularly when night work is undertaken. Okay, starting to reference some things that might put pieces together. Okay, we're going to talk about, people who live in a box for days and can't see sun, moon, stars, cycle, lose some of the things that help keep them synchronized with our 24-hour day, something like that. Transmeridian flights over different time zones, right? Because post-meridian and whatever. Okay, transmeridian flights involve displacements across latitudes and produce rapid and often large time zone changes. The sudden shift disengages the environmental and biological rhythms and is also likely to lead to disturbed sleep. Okay, I'm not sure what's going to lead to disturbed sleep. Just the sudden shift? Depends on how you would respond to it. But okay, subjectively, most people complain of tiredness, impaired appetite, and a general loss of well-being, while sleepiness is experienced at inconvenient times, so jet lag. Desynchronization of the environmental and biological rhythms, okay, also influences performance at certain times of the day. Performance is impaired in the late afternoon and early night of at least the first day after flights in a westerly direction. Wow, is this stuff true? And in the morning and afternoon after traveling eastwards. I may not be speaking out loud, but I am really trying to follow this. Starting to feel like I get some idea about they're talking about the desynchronization of environmental and biological rhythms. I don't know what an environmental rhythm is necessarily, but like I said, it would be the sun rising and falling. It'd be crickets chirping in the morning, crickets chirping at night, warmest part of the days in the afternoon. So if you're removed from those influences at the same time as you are, what are the other one you lose? There were environmental ones. I've lost my place. Of the environmental and then biological rhythms. Now again, you got to tell me what a biological rhythm is. We're just talking about things that we bodily things that we experience, living things that have patterns or rhythms. I don't know, you have to clear that up for me. So when those two get out of whack, when you start doing things that you would normally do based on an environmental rhythm, I don't know, or in sync with your environment, then you get these changes. The desynchronization of circadian rhythms associated with it's just ticking me off, circadian. I want to know what the heck circadian is. I'm getting no clues yet. The desynchronization of circadian rhythms associated with, and now they're not saying rhythmicity, rhythms associated with transmeridian flight has been examined in several studies. After westbound flights, the curve of circadian rhythmicity is displaced to the left of that of the environmental changes. See, that sounds like a baloney sentence to me. We'll find out later, right? And then is displaced to the left of that of the environmental changes. See, those two things don't make sense at all. There's no left of environmental changes or right of environmental changes. It makes no sense to me. And after eastward flights to the right, the amplitude may be altered, and sometimes a rhythm may disappear. Again, a rhythm disappearing? I don't know what they're talking about. Re-entrainment of rhythms to the new environment occurs gradually, and with body temperature begins with what? Try it again. Re-entrainment of rhythms to the new environment occurs gradually, and with body temperature begins with the first sleep in the new zone. There may be differences in the shift of maxima and minima, leading to distortions of the oscillation. Oscillation, I'm familiar with, the movement up and down between a signal, a wave, vibration of a string to make sound or music. After westward flight, the maximum may shift earlier or further than the minimum, whereas the opposite may be true after eastward flights. What kind of phase are they talking about measuring? What kind of vibration are they talking about? Although phase shifting is a consequence of the desynchrony between environmental and biological rhythms, the other changes may be more related to the general stress of the flight. In man, social cues and timing of meals are important to the speed of re-entrainment. Indeed, adopting local times for meals accelerates the phase shift. Nevertheless, individuals differ in the ease and the speed of their adaptation. Circadian rhythms may synchronize at different speeds. Circadian rhythms. And right now, I mean, you got to know. By now, I would have www.dictionary.com, and I'd know what the heck circadian was if it was in the dictionary. You can apply it to rhythms. And this is true for psychological as well as physiological functions, although it's not clear how the dissociation arises. As far as performance is concerned, it would appear that task complexity is important, and a high memory load adapts faster than a simple task. And a high memory load adapts faster than a simple task. Again, that doesn't seem to make sense to me. Performance is appear that task complexity is important. Performance. High memory load adapts faster than a simple task. Don't get it, not clearly. Using performance as an indicator. Performance of what? A simple task versus a high memory load tasks? Very bad sentence again, terrible sentence. Resynchronization times for the westward direction vary between 1.7 and 6 days, and for the eastbound direction from between 2.9 and 11.3 days. In some subjects, eastbound travel may require even longer times for complete readjustment. I don't know. I don't know if I talked loud enough because of the behind-the-scenes stuff. Trying to get clues from the context, and especially when sentence structure doesn't strike me as being proper, then I'm thrown off again. So I could read this several times. I don't think the directions said anything about rewatching. So that's it. I'm going to stop and play this thing back. It's about jet lag, but a lot of the stuff makes no sense to me. I'm just trying to think east to west and west to east, and the differences in circadian rhythms and rhythmicity and environmental versus a few things. The sentence about the body temperature begins. I mean, that's a bogus sentence if I ever heard one. Maxima and minima. I could guess what they meant within oscillation, but there may be differences in the shift of maxima and minima. That's the first time they used the term maxima and minima, so you'd have to know what those were. So anyway, very complicated text about jet lag.